Now, yesterday I put out this video about my local MP, Lloyd Russell-Moyle, being deselected. He won't be standing for Brighton Kemptown. A complaint about his behaviour 8 years ago came through, and obviously we're not going to find out the details. There's going to be an appeal process, all this sort of thing. But we're starting to get like breadcrumbs, little breadcrumbs of information and things that just don't add up. First of all, the timing. Obviously, the fact that this was 8 years ago and it happens to come up right before the election is a bit off. We're having similar situations. We've got the Diane Abbott debacle going on at the moment currently, and anyone that seems to be on the left of the Labour Party seems to be going through these things, which Lloyd Russell definitely was. But, it's all speculation. We don't know exactly what's happened, but we're just getting little breadcrumbs at the moment. So the obvious replacement would be my ex-local councillor, Nancy Platt. She's run several times in Brighton Kemptown. She also tried to run against Caroline Lucas in central Brighton, but she managed to halve the Conservative majority in 2015 and really get the ball rolling in turning Brighton Kemptown into a safe Labour seat, which it now is. Now, I'm going to read this statement from her that she put out on Twitter. I'd like to pay tribute to Lloyd Russell, who has been our MP since 2017 and who I am proud to call my friend. Following his suspension, I was asked by some local members, including myself, to stand in Brighton Kemptown. They felt that as someone who had previously been selected by members, had been a local councillor here for 5 years, had good local name recognition and had halved the Tory majority in 2015, that I was best placed to win the seat. I spoke to Lloyd and put myself forward to be Brighton Kemptown candidate with his support. Everything moved very quickly yesterday and I was pleased to be offered an online interview at 2:40 p.m. It was disappointing afterwards to find out that during my interview Michael Crick had tweeted out that Chris Ward would be the successful candidate. Good, fair interview process there. Imagine that in any other walk of life when you go in for the interview and you're in the interview for the job and you find out someone's got it while you're in the interview. I have forwarded the tweet to the General Secretary of the Labour Party, and I trust that there will now be an investigation to ensure the fairness of the process. That's very fair. It's important to remember that these decisions, after a wider group of people, had I been selected, I would have kept on all of Lloyd's team who now face losing their jobs and their livelihoods. I'd like to thank all the local members and local, regional, national trade unions that took the time to have conversations yesterday and who have offered me their support. So the obvious replacement, I've met her a couple of times. I can't say I know her. She does the park run that I go to on Saturdays. I've chatted briefly, and when she's been at the doorstep for elections, and she's a fantastic councillor. Worked tirelessly over the last decade for Labour in this area, loved by all the members, and would have taken on all of Lloyd's team so no one loses their job. An obvious replacement. And then this goes to who is being replaced: Chris Ward. So to my surprise, Chris Ward, former Starmer advisor, he was an aide and a speechwriter for Keir Starmer. Currently a lobbyist for Hanbury, representing gambling firms and fossil fuel companies. Now, Owen Jones, not everyone's cup of tea, of course, Owen Jones. I disagree with him on quite a few things. But he put out this statement on Twitter today. Okay, everyone gather round. Here's a lovely little story for you all. Chris Ward, Keir Starmer's former chief of staff, was a long-time close friend. He stayed at my parents' flat in Edinburgh. We got drunk together, made repetitive Alan Partridge-based gags. We argued about politics a lot, understandably, given his love of Tony Blair and unrepented support for the Iraq War. He was obsessed with becoming an MP in his hometown. Brighton, his greatest IRE, wasn't reserved for the Tories, but for the Green Party, not least Caroline Lucas, who was something of a demonic figure for him. We discussed his frustrations at his flatlining career, condemned to a year-long exile of being parliamentary bag carrier until some new MP called Keir Starmer scooped him up. During the 2020 Labour leadership campaign, Chris Ward regaled me with fascinating disputes like Keir Starmer will want John MacDonald to stay on as Shadow Chancellor. He would ring me up to promise me that pledges like increased tax on the top 5% were ironclad. Needless to say, I wasn't convinced by this and didn't vote for his candidate, but there's an insight into just how pathologically dishonest the campaign was. He then went on to work for Hanbury Strategy, a corporate lobbying firm set up by two Tories, one of them the former PR lead for Vote Leave. What I would say is this: Lloyd Russell is a gay man, like all politicians purged by Starmer, so far from a minority. And I don't think he's being purged for being a gay man. I mean, this is what I'm saying about disagreements with Owen Jones. As Starmer allies carve up parliamentary seats like colonial administrators, divvying up their spoils, Ward, like a vulture, is set to steal this seat with not a single local member voting for him. Those local members should feel furious. They had a principled, independent-minded MP. They now have a professional political operator turned corporate lobbyist who will be stooge for whatever his old boss tells him to say or do, and they have no say over the matter. Well, I think Brighton deserves better. I couldn't agree more, and yeah, I am furious. I actually am. This has got to be the first time where I've really swindled on the fact of whether I'm going to vote Labour. I've always had at the back of my head, however many things come out, I've always had at the back of my head, the greater good. The first step, the number one step to making this country better is getting rid of the Tories. In 5 years' time, we can really push Labour for more progressive policies. But this, I can't. How can I morally vote for this guy when two candidates? We don't know what's gone on with Lloyd Russell. We don't, and I'm not going to try and speculate. If something serious comes out, then all for it. But at least put in the member that all the members in the constituency want, and has tirelessly served this constituency for years and deserves it. Nancy Platt deserves that spot, and this guy, I don't think I can vote for him. I don't think in my clear conscience I can vote for him. But this is the thing anyway. We always like to talk about our sacred vote. Our sacred vote. Look, there's my vote there. Look, back in 2019. There it is. You can see it on screen. 25,033 votes. There's my vote. So it would be 25,032 votes if I didn't vote. Maybe I might just chuck that one to Alexandra Phillips for the Green Party. Yeah, they got a stonking majority. That's what's so painful about this. They got a stonking majority in, over 50%. And that is largely to do with the work that Nancy Platt's done at the beginning of the decade. That used to be a relatively safe Conservative seat, and she deserves that. So, yeah, I'm in two minds today. I really am. Give me your thoughts, please. Because I don't know whether I can bring myself to vote for him. I really don't. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong in the comments section. If you like the video, click a like. If you haven't subscribed, you can subscribe up top. There'll be another video. I'm going to be live today on A. Thompson's YouTube channel at 7:30. I'm going to put a link down below if you want to come and try. I might talk about this in a bit more detail today. Get his opinions. We'll talk about other stuff as well, I'm sure. Should be good fun. Till next time, take care.